The life of prisoners in this open prison is better than working-class Americans. No bars, no chains, and no locks. This is how Finland is changing the way people are locked up. Finland's open prisons. Have you ever heard about them? Here, 1/3 of Finnish prisons are open, which means that inmates can leave to go to work or school. Isn't it the most exciting part? I know you are surprised. Well, I was too, and wondered how that related to Chicago, which is at the epicenter of the U.S. prison abolition movement. Prison abolitionists visualize a society in which people are not imprisoned at all, arguing that prisons in the United States cannot be reformed and that the entire system should be dismantled. Open prisons are not abolitionists by definition, but they are reimagining imprisonment. 1/3 of Finland's prisons are open to the public. In Finland, open prisons are regarded as successful because it has not resulted in an increase in crime. The philosophy is one of rehabilitation. Vanhaja Men's Prison is located in Hämeenlinna, Finland. About an hour by train from Helsinki, was a former workers' colony before becoming an open prison in the 1990s. A farm is next door, and one of the inmates looks after the sheep. The land is vast and green, and the 50 inmates walk freely, wearing electronic monitors but no chains. There are no bars or locks. The inmates are housed in a white 2-story building that resembles a dorm or a hostel. In open prisons, inmates can leave for school or work. A social worker is part of the wraparound services, and there are also classes for managing anger or substance abuse. Because of its small population, the facility is able to provide individual guidance to the men. Inmates prepare every meal, and every Friday, an unmarked white van transports them to the grocery store. Cell phones and bank accounts are available to inmates. They can even order pizza to go and do their own laundry. When it comes to second chances through parole, the Finnish penal system does not differentiate between violent and non-violent crimes in the same way that the U.S. system does. Open prisons house those convicted of white-collar crime and homicide. Let's take Micah, for example, who is serving a life sentence for murder in Vanhaja. In Finland, a life sentence is 15 years, with parole eligibility after 12 years. Micah was transferred from a closed prison to an open prison for good behavior and sobriety. When he is released, he intends to work as a gardener. But what here is based on research rather than politics. Finland, like other countries, believed that confinement would control prisoners through a combination of penance and religion in the 1800s. Until after World War II, overcrowding and harsh conditions were the norms. The effort to humanize the Finnish prison system has been ongoing for decades, beginning with worker colonies. A significant divergence occurred in the 1970s. Policymakers in the United States gained political points by becoming tough on crime and declaring a war on drugs. They ingrained excessive punishment in a system that has wreaked havoc on Black and brown communities through mass incarceration. Meanwhile, Finland implemented open prisons and saw a decrease in its prison population. Every piece of criminal justice legislation is drafted by civil servants with a strong research background, said Tapio Lapi-Seppälä, a professor of criminal law and criminology at the University of Helsinki. The open prisons in Finland are such that you can visit another prison in just 15 minutes by boat ride. One such prison is Suomenlinna Prison, which is located 15 minutes from Helsinki on the same named island. It is a popular tourist destination as well as a sea fortress and UNESCO World Heritage Site. Most visitors are unaware that an open prison occurs there or that the men sentenced there contribute to its upkeep. The prison buildings at Suomenlinna are the polar opposite of the hulking, concrete, drab prisons in the United States. The aesthetic is the sleek design. The blue and gray 1-story structures could pass for a summer motel. Sinikka Saarela, the prison's director, sounded like a Chicago abolitionist when she said that these were the winning designs in an architecture competition. And it is believed there was a rule or mention somewhere that maybe one day these prisons won't be a prison.